to being the smallest in the school. Their confidence disappears, and it's like, oh, it's not cool to be in pantomime anymore. But we found that because of the buzz about our pantomime, all these older teenagers from S1, S2, S3,
S4
were all wanting to be back in the pantomime because of the fun. They knew how fun-loving we are, very fun-loving with stuff. You know, we have a good sense of humour about things, and I think that encouraged them. But what happened then was, instead of having so many adult parts, you can't give these kids who are in S2, S3, S4, or even S1, you can't give them a child part, because essentially they're no longer a child.
They need to be in an adult part. They need to be projecting themselves, which then puts some of the adults' noises out of joint, because you've got more adult parts that you have to create, and that did happen a little bit. We did knock a few people's noses out of joints, and that's hard. But on the other side, we also had to, the children. One thing which I am gutted about, we did have to knock one of the guys out, as in Darren, as in he has been a dame 1 year. He's got great acting talent. But he couldn't commit due to being offshore, not offshore, but working abroad. So he couldn't fully commit his time to there. So we said it's probably best if you're there. But being an adult, he would accept that decision. If you said no to a kid, that may knock him from applying again and say, "Oh, I'm not good enough," and then be shrunk back in. So that's one of the reasons why we never said no to any of the kids, even though we had a massive load of kids.
So you end it basically in order to encourage the children, because as you say, if you say no to them this year, it's going to knock them back and they may not go into it. And I know pantomime is important from children's perspective, developing their confidence, and we're going to look at that in a short while. But in order to not say no to any of them, you pretty much gave every child who wanted to be in it, give them a part, which means you had to then go back and change the script and split some characters into
multiples. So what would be just 2 or 3 villagers came into 7. The
cards we put in, we actually at the last minute we had to put in extra parts that were never there in the script, like the cards that you had, and you had all these cards in there, and then also
a very strange, what never happens in Alice in Wonderland script is you have a Britain's Got Talent competition just to allow more people to join in.
That was in the jail scene.
So it was in the jail scene, and there was a redecoration, and then somebody came out with, oh well, let's put a Britain's Got Talent scene in there, and that allowed us to have some of the acts. So one of the acts, so it was bringing in outside groups. So the Hopeman Scout group then had a little section there
dance routine,
for an old Scouts grooving dance routine, which we got fully choreographed, and they just had...
Do you know, they really threw themselves into it. They really got into it.
Did,
But I tell you, the funnier they got it wrong, the funnier it was.
So that whole Britain's Got Talent scene in the jail, which will mean nothing to most people who haven't seen it, but there was in the jail scene.
I do actually have a recording of it, so you would be able to...
Well, I mean, but the Britain's Got... in the jail scene, when the Wicked Queen is throwing all the goodies into the jail, David says, all of a sudden, there's a Britain's Got Talent contest happens in the middle of the thing, and I never realised that was purely so that you could add more parts in.
Add more parts.
Yeah.
Wow.
To give more people more screen time.
Yeah.
But then that allowed us to have some of the teenagers come in as the judges and also extend their roles, so they had more speaking lines.
Right.
But some people really wanted to be evil, but they couldn't go for the evil roles because we'd already chosen those people. So by giving them the judges, it gave them the speaking roles that they wanted to be the evil nasty.
So suddenly you've got 3 more evil speaking roles that they could really throw themselves into.
And
for
they
those
got into it, didn't they? The Simon Cowell role.
That was one of the unique ways that we did our directing style. So every director who've done the pantomime have different styles. Some people are completely rigid. This is my script. We are going to go through this way. There's going to be no alterations. We're going to do that and read it well. But our script was very fluid, shall we say. So we had the basics. We knew it was going to be a short, snappy script due to past scripts that we have had that have been war and peace, shall we say, as in about 3 or 4 hours, which is too long to sit in a cold theatre. Watching it there, so as in, I think it was about...
You have to think about the younger ones that you've got in, so it goes from primary 3, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Primary 3 up, so you're looking at, 5, 6 years old? So they're very young.
Yes.
And to be having them 3 or 4 hours at a time is too long for them.
Yes.
Also, everyone else is shattered by that time too.
Yeah.
And when you've got a Thursday, a Friday and 2 performances on the Saturday at the end, That is a lot of time. And then you've got Tuesday dress rehearsal. So it goes Tuesday, dress rehearsal, Thursday, and then Friday, and then
2 on Saturday.
That's a long time. By Sunday is clean up day. So you have to remember, you've got a full week committed to nothing but the panto.
Sorry, that's just only performance week, let alone the commitment that you have in the run-up, that it's at least every Sunday, but sometimes Friday, Sundays on the run-up to it after
all the
Christmas.
Prop making that you have to do.
So actually going through it is a big commitment, especially as I was alluding to at the start. We were trying to plan a wedding at the same time as planning a business at the same time. You kind of think, are you mad? But aren't we all a little bit mad in panto?
Do you know what? Actually, although we did do those 3 things, I mean, we came straight off our honeymoon, didn't we? And straight into, I think we had 2 days. 2 days. I think it was 2 or 3 days after we came back from our honeymoon, straight into auditions.
Yeah.
Doing our auditions.
Yeah.
That's how quick it was, and it was like straight back, straight into it. Nuts, absolutely nuts.
So when we spoke earlier on about how you developed when you were performers, going from bricking it to being able to actually be on stage and read lines and performing. You used that to help you with your reading from stage skills. You found it's helped you with interviews and so on. What about being a writer or a director? What kind of skills, what kind of lessons and experiences enable you to grow from those?
In terms of the script, as in, because again this year it was getting to the stage where there's only 2 people wanting to become director. I think we were 2 years ago. Nikki, the other director, did last year, and she's stepping back, so there's no really to do that. But I just enjoy that creative writing side of things. So as in, before the other one ended, I'd already had the basis of what was this one going to be? This one's going to be Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, you've already done that one, haven't you?
I'd already looked around on the internet and found the basic bare bones of a script. And then you kind of think, well, I can't commit my time to the full length of the pantomime, but I don't want it to die. So I want to make sure that there is at least a script in place if I can't commit those times. So therefore, either me, if I do find the time, or somebody else can have an easy pickup. But we found that the fluid way worked best for ourselves.
Yeah, I think it was more about understanding how we came across to people. And I think what we found was, I certainly found that kids were a lot calmer.
We listened to very good feedback. So you working up in the village shop, you always heard it's kind of, really enjoyed panto. When are you doing it again?
I get that every Saturday. At least every Saturday or every Sunday I get, when's your next panto? When can I come into it? And I'm like, I feel guilty about this year, because part of me thinks, but then I'm like,
I think that's our unique style that we have. So because we are beach by name, beach by nature, we're beach lovers, we love that relaxed air, which translates through into our directing style, that we have the bare skeleton of a script, but kids can actually input ideas, so that means that they take ownership of it and feel more valued, which then builds up their confidence, so therefore they give a good performance on stage.
Yeah, and then I think it comes back on you, doesn't it? I think with directors, I think for me it gave me a lot of confidence that actually I could do it. And that was quite scary, because actually you feel, although you've got the committee, there was times when you felt like they didn't quite understand our way. There was that kind of little bit of friction going on there, that our way wasn't understood, that maybe we were too relaxed, but actually I think
it's just our style.
It's just our style. So it's not that we're not doing it. We are just... everyone has to be very different.
So kind of, but behind the scenes there's maybe a little bit of conflict between how you want to do it and how the community... So how do you go about resolving those sorts of conflicts? Because obviously you've got to make sure everyone still comes together.
Yeah. We said from the start, as in, it's our first year, so therefore we would like some support.
Yeah.
And then pretty much week 1, no support there, right up until pretty much the dress rehearsal, where everybody then came in and tried to organise everything. It's like, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? They're not loud enough. It's like, we've managed to build up there. So previous faults within pantos, they're always struggling to do a complete read-through by... even after Christmas, they're still struggling there. We, from day 1, managed to get from start to finish every week, which meant the kids got the continuity of it.
They knew the story.
And there was no bits, bobs.
There was no... Because I think from times when I've done it, and I remember that, I'm I'm renowned in the panto for not knowing my lines or panicking and forgetting my lines. So what I've become...
Cheat sheets.
I've become quite clever at developing props that I need to hold, i.e. when I was an Indian, the book had all my lines inside it. The time that I wrote them up my arm.
Yeah.
And I kind of just went, you know, and it looked very natural, but yes, I had them on an OA. I've had my lines on everything, and actually the kids have got quite clever to it. And I said to them, as long as you can disguise them, put your lines on something. If you can have your lines on something, it's absolutely, as long as you can show that you're not getting lines.
I do believe one of my defining moments as one of the characters, so one year I was joint pantomime dame. Mm-hmm. So major parts. I turned up for the first rehearsal, then got a job down in South Wales, and I was down in South Wales until the dress rehearsal. Mm-hmm. I did not do a single rehearsal with everybody apart from first one and last one before the performances.
Ouch.
Yet my technique for doing there, I actually recorded all my lines down on a voice recorder on my phone, and on my walk into work and my walk back from work, I would constantly be listening to all my lines. So I'd go then back in, but because of the style of my character, I was a nanny in training.
Right.
So all my stage directing was done by Ian, who was the nanny, and I was the ninny. So I could wander around the stage and do that, and it's like, oh, excuse the ninny there, but I was absolutely word perfect in terms of that because I didn't have any distractions, I didn't have any of the in-jokes going in, and that's how I found was my best line for actually just learning my lines, just voice recording all the bits that I was in.
And then just listen to them over and over.
I was knowing my lines better than the dame who was there at all the rehearsals.
Yeah, because we read them through, didn't we? We did a lot between us where we do one person.
But that was ultimate faith of knowing. I know my lines, but now I've got to put it from walking to work in South Wales to being on stage in Hopeman.
Yeah,
dressed up, in character, but it just worked. As in, it was a great technique for actually helping me learn my line, and I'd say still to date that was probably one of my better performances.
Very useful tip there. Very useful tip. We kind of veered away a bit there, so I'll bring us back to the question. As producers, directors.
Yeah.
So what did you learn? How did you personally grow as a result of being directors of the pantomime?
I think Lara is probably best to answer that one.
Yeah, it was very stressful at times. Very, very stressful at times, and trying to get things over to people that actually you do know what you're doing, and learning to deal with conflict. Though there was a bit of conflict at times, but I think for me, confidence, it boosts my confidence. Actually, you know what, I can control so many odd kids that are running riot, and so many, not control, but can, keep everyone to a minimum.
To direct and focus them.
But also, I had a couple of people within, you were one of them, Keith. There was another one who was Fiona, who I actually went to when I had problems and when I wasn't feeling so good about things.
So supportive nature.
Yeah, I had a couple of people that I would go and bounce, like, actually today I just want to go and hide and scream. I'm going to go take myself to the toilet and scream. So if you look after the kids for 10 minutes when I just have a scream, and I'll be back. and bouncing things off and just saying, actually, can you just hold that thought for a minute that you're having a problem with me doing this? But just hold that thought, bench it, and we'll come back to that, because actually this is the way we need to do it at the moment, and if it doesn't work that way, we'll do it a different way.
Okay, so
it's just kind of having probably that confidence to actually say to people, yes, I understand that you're feeling this way, however, this is the way we're directing it as style, and having that confidence just to say, I understand what you're saying, but can we just do it this way first, and if it doesn't work, we'll look at your way.
Okay, so you kind of grew. What I'm hearing there is you kind of grew in a couple of ways.
Yeah.
One was growing your confidence to be able to be you, to know that you're holding the bigger picture, and sometimes people will disagree, and it's okay to say no. We'll do it this way.
It's okay to disagree, but it's it's on our shoulders. We're doing it this way. Please be part of our team.
Yeah. I guess. David mentioned a good word there, team. I guess that's something else which you develop as a result of being a producer. You appreciate more the power of teamwork and actually how to build and develop a team.
I mean, the kids are fantastic in that as well. I mean, the adults are really good as a team, but as an adult, you're kind of more used to this teamwork, okay? So children still have to build this teamwork, but when you've got them all helping each other and helping each other with lines, and then you see